situation.
Well, in a year that so much has changed, Spacestation being one of those biggest changes, they're going to be taking on one of the teams that has been steadfast throughout the entirety of 2019, Spacestation and Reciprocity. We've got ourselves into game number one. I'm going to be very curious to see what sort of playstyle comes out from Reciprocity. And that player in front of you, I think there's questions from almost everybody watching this season. What shot set are we getting?
Oh, yeah. And everyone wants to see the knock 'em dead, lights out shot set, because it is fun to watch when it is clicking. And there is Farah getting things started early with a demo. Arsenal's a great guy to demo as well. He is the guy that really tends to set up a lot of the quality goal-scoring opportunities for Spacestation, and a lot of nice early pressure here from Reciprocity.
Yeah, so far Spacestation struggling to find ways out, but good passing play. Gives them a bit of breathing room, but immediately, Free just doesn't care. He puts it straight back into the blue side of the field, and very wasteful from Reciprocal. Puts himself out of position, gives the ball back over possession, and Spacestation find himself stuck again.
Definitely a weird play from Reciprocal to let that one go, but they do get a second chance at it. Arsenal drop down, and free ball for Fruity.
Fruity, whose mechanical progression has been very evident throughout the season. Trying to pick up the slack where sometimes when Chaussette hasn't been able to go all the way in, but finally Spacestation back into the orange side of the field, and again, ball back over, but might not be for too long. XB for the second touch. He's feathered 11 boost. Couldn't get it, doesn't matter. It's going to be an open net.
And that's really, Spacestation didn't really do anything special here. It was sort of a dogfight for the ball in the middle of the pitch, and they're expecting AXB to come up with that touch. It just bounces off the backboard twice, and Reciprocity diving at that first opportunity on goal, expecting it to be on target. Just bounces right back out, and no one left home.
Sometimes the best things you can do on offense is miss the ball entirely. Because there's just so much respect at this level. You expect players that are this good at the game to always make not only a touch, but a quality touch. So when neither of those things happen, it really throws you off. He played right over the top. Reciprocal passes it straight down to AXB. Instead, actually takes it by himself. North American MVP over in the form of Reciprocal. What a great play from Farah. Forced to try and play it a second time. He's going to keep that one going. Gets locked up by Arsenal. Reciprocal can set himself up. So despite most of the pressure being for Reciprocity, Spacestation find themselves in a good spot. 3 minutes left in the play. But one thing I actually do want to bring up is that despite Reciprocity having that pressure, they didn't really create much with it.
Yeah, they've definitely done a nice job controlling the midfield boost, I feel, which is definitely allowing them to keep Spacestation Gaming from getting a lot going. But you're absolutely right. Definitely struggling to get that ball out into the middle of the pitch, put strong shots on target, and the creation aspect of the quality chance is not quite developing yet.
Chaussette looks to try and recover off the wall. It's 2 players committed, neither of them making contact, trying to take a page from Spacestation's book. Chaussette already over in the corner, leaves it now for Arsenal. Second touch, that really throws off Fruity. And that's a lot of space gained for Spacestation. Now transitions to the other side of the field. Open net to aim for. No, Chaussette barrels in from the side of the screen. And now he's looking to get to the other side of the field.
And it's back pass as well. It's an awkward ball for Fruity to handle. This could be another chance for Spacestation. They can get their mitts back on it.
Oh, that's huge as well. Just picked up the boost and instantly removed from the field. And you can see how much it's starting to affect Reciprocity. They couldn't do anything about it. Just too much from Spacestation for them to handle.
It was that quick transition. Chaussette made the first save, but unfortunately, the pressure just kept building, and there was those strong shots on target while Reciprocity was rotating back into the net. They all get a little antsy, some double commits, nobody really in position to support that second touch, and the pressure eventually wears them down.
It's been a calm performance so far from Spacestation. Haven't looked overly worried. Just playing their game. Didn't get antsy when they were stuck in their own side of the field. Just waited for their opportunity, and they made the most of it. Reciprocal on the ball. Couldn't pick up the boost on his way through. That's going to limit his options. Does mean Chaussette can get the pass out, but they needed contact. XB still on the rotation back. A good shot there. Could have halved the lead.
Wonderful control there from Arsenal. At this point, it could very easily become a clock control game for Spacestation Gaming. That demo on the back line, though, may be able to open the door, but Arsenal securing his own corner boost and delaying that touch into the middle.
At this point for Reciprocity, it's so crucial to not give up a loose ball on the other side of the field. You look at Space Station's roster, everyone there can do a fairly decent air dribble, and it will waste so much time off the clock. They cannot afford to give this ball away. And now they're going to make an opportunity for themselves. Follow-up will not be there in time. Arsenal takes away the chance.
Fruity going for the spot-on placement. To be fair, it had to be, but that's a bounce. They misread it, and AXB will jump on it. 3-0 Space Station.
Space Station just seem so calm this game. It's been Reciprocity been trying different things, but still, like, not only has there not been a goal, but realistically, what we just saw was their best chance at a shot.
Oh yeah, that was definitely their best chance for a goal from Fruity, and it's a tight one to score, but it's the World Championships. You don't have room for error at this point. And unfortunately, you talked about it earlier on in the game. I mean, there's been some decent approaches from Reciprocity, but it took, what, 4.5 minutes for them to really get a great shot on target.
Just feels like they're adding maybe 1 or 2 extra steps that might be just unnecessary at this point. Maybe overestimating what they actually need to do. The answers for their coach, Yummy Cheeseman, to try and answer after this. They've got a minute to try and figure it out because Space Station Gaming have taken them to school in game number 1.
Chassette trying to get a spicy goal there to close it out, but everyone's... Oh, they're not going to let it fall. Sipical just stopped. He's like, are we done? Okay, we're done. And Space Station, you said it, calm, cool, collected, and to be fair, it really didn't have to be anything more than that. It got jammed in the corner a fair amount, battled on the midfield line, and overall, Space Station get the better of Reciprocity. And going into game 2, I mean, you hope to stop things like this from happening, because Chassette's just trusting AXB to come up with a touch. Arsenal beats the last man, and Fruity's off grabbing boost in the midfield, so Sipical, thank you very much, we'll take that.
And more importantly, we see 3 minutes 33 on the clock. That was the first time Space Station even looked at the orange side of the field, and it was immediately given up. Reciprocity will not want to be so wasteful. They won't want to get maybe too far ahead of themselves when they get on the offense, because when you spend a lot of time on offensive rotation, it can get frustrating.
It is fairly annoying, to say the least, if you're sitting here. I mean, they have, what, 6 shots on goal, and really, it feels like maybe 1, maybe 2 pretty decent looks at the net. But it's annoying because you just spent, like you said, 90 seconds on offense, 1.5 minutes, and you really didn't generate anything too scary. So you're thinking, all right, Space Station finally broke out. Let's just go grab some boost. And then it all goes wrong, and you immediately get scored on. You're thinking, man, why was that so easy for them? And it took us 90 seconds to even maybe get something going. And then you're down 1, and on top of that, you get shut out at the end of the game. And it's just a annoying game 1 for Reciprocity in general, because you know that's a team that can really get things going. And they absolutely needed the one to get started, because you knew Space Station was coming in hot after their game against Canberra Havoc.
Yeah, actually, you brought attention to that earlier on, that you thought Reciprocity were going to require at least one game to start getting themselves going. My fear is I don't know if that was the game. You feel like it needed, more of a natural game of Rocket League to play through for them to maybe start feeling a bit more confident.
Oh, yeah. If you wanted Reciprocity to feel good about this game, too, you needed to at least get something. If that Fruity goal goes in, you're thinking, all right, cool, fair enough. But unfortunately, off the mark, tough stuff. And they're all going to sit here and they're going to think about what they're going to do about it, because they said, what was it, 15-2 if Chassette scores, and nobody able to get him the ball. Chassette at the end almost had a nice dunk play, but to me, again, it's all that midfield line, and AXB is the biggest proponent of the midfield line for that Space Station roster. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Space Station backboard control especially just been so impressive throughout that first game, just constantly transitioning, hitting the ball from the backboard to someone waiting in the midfield, especially when they were struggling with it quite a bit at the start of the game. Once they got the lead, here's the thing. Reciprocity have got to go on offense again somewhere that wasn't working for them, and they've got to go even heavier on the offense, which makes transitioning so much easier as a defensive player. Yeah, and we are getting an audio issue sorted for the players before we head on into game number 2. And so the issue is Chassette hasn't scored. Yes, obviously. He's not used to this. And he's sitting there. That's the audio issue. Chassette hasn't been able to say, I got it, and then have a goal explosion go off. But Reciprocity, I mean, you think about why they didn't get much going. It's that ball just jammed in that Space Station corner.
And a lot of that power from Reciprocity's offense in the later half of the season, again, a lot of Shawset individual effort. Get the ball to the hot hand. He'll beat defenders, take it into the corner himself and dish it out, or have some demos coming out for some other point from Farah generally, maybe Fruity occasionally, and they open the door that way. But one, the demos didn't come through. Two, Shawset's not being the guy to go and challenge in the corner and get the ball unstuck from there. And overall, Spacestation Gaming, they're more than comfortable to play a corner game because they have a player like Arsenal who is a master of getting the ball unstuck from the corner and getting the ball into the middle of the pitch.
I do. So we've had a lot of time now to talk about this game, but I do want to talk to you very quickly about one of the players and sort of his story here recently. I actually want to bring up, because we talk a lot about Shawset, we talk a lot about Fruity.
Sure.
Story of Farah this year. This is the previous seasons, he was still working a full-time job and playing as a Rocket League pro. This is the first season we've seen him where he's been able to fully commit to this as what he's doing. So this tournament means so much to him because it means, was this commitment worth it? Did I make the right decision?
Well, I think if you come out here, you make Worlds, and you win first in Europe, that alone justifies everything. You feel like you're feeling
I didn't even know
good.
he was still working full-time as he was getting these results. That was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, even you can go back to as far as E-League, and I remember talking to him there, and he's sitting there like, yeah, I work as a database analyst, and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, you have a full-time job? And he's like, yeah. So he's definitely been working double time, as you'd like to say, and having him come in and being able to fully commit to the Rocket League scene and really help and develop this Reciprocity team, which again, his teammates give him a lot of credit for that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, maybe some of us on the analyst desk, we're always a little harsh on Farah, feeling like he could contribute a little bit more. But when your teammates are sitting there saying, don't listen to them, we know you're great and you're doing good work, and then he goes full time, you come out here, you make the World Championships as the first seed in Europe, I think everyone on Reciprocity is happy with that move.
I think that actually shows a lot of maturity from him, because whenever I heard that, I always had the feeling of, if Farah tries to do more, this team breaks apart. Because you need him to sort of make sure the fundamentals are there. If he tries to do too much, it means you lose access to some of the big plays from Shawset. You lose some of the more mechanical plays that we started to see from Fruity over these last few seasons. Farah's very good, just low boost. I'm not going to be too much in the way here. I'm just going to make sure that what I do well.
Yeah, it's really about enabling, and every team needs to have a player like that. I mean, you look on Cloud9, it's Torment. You look on Dignitas, it's Violent Panda. You look on pretty much any team. There's always one guy that just takes a backseat and says, you guys do whatever you need to do, and you need to have that player with flexibility. And Farah absolutely fills that role.
I also want to talk to you, obviously we've talked an awful lot here about Reciprocity. I want to talk to you as well about Spacestation Gaming. This is going to sound almost harsh in a way, but Spacestation's rise has just been so quick that it was a point where you just look and just go, wait, I'm not used to thinking about you guys being up here. Yeah. And it's been that way for also a lot of the community where they just go, wait,
they're good now.
Yeah, but maybe like people that don't stay as up to date with the scene, it's a little jarring at times, and I feel like it's almost been jarring to them where they just went, wow, we've really just improved so much. It's one of the most impressive team just jumps I've seen. The only one higher is Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's true. Pittsburgh might be the only other team that you could really be like, well, we don't know what to make, and oh my gosh, they're at the top of the league. And Spacestation Gaming, if you take out Pittsburgh Knights, probably slots into that role. And it all goes back to how they changed their system of play, because again, as I mentioned many times, AXB is now the guy in front, always harassing. He used to be the guy sitting third man and playing Sipical's role. So Sipical and Arsenal were still the guys up front fighting for the ball, and AXB was having struggles putting those shots away. His shooting percentage was down. Spacestation Gaming's shooting percentage was in the dirt. It was terrible, and they made the change. They're like, AXB, you know what? You go do whatever you do. They put their best put-away shooter in Sipical in the back line, and as soon as they did that, they turned into a lights-out team, and they try and keep that going as much as they can. And there's Arsenal, and boy, has he just been a phenomenal replacement after they got rid of Sathu. So Arsenal has just been a fantastic pickup in terms of the potential offensive output for this Spacestation team.
And there was also a lot of questions coming about where would Arsenal go during the off-season. We are currently getting players back into the lobby. We look to try and get this going again in just a moment. But for Arsenal, this has been a roller coaster this few weeks for him. I mean, this is a team that a lot of people were looking at and just going, okay, they're bottom two. They're going to be fighting it out. And They don't have to think about that to this point, but what they do need to think about is the match right in front of them. They've got Reciprocity on the ropes, but has the extended timeout given a Reciprocity an opportunity to reconsider what they're doing? Or are they simply at the mercy of the North American MVP?
Spacestation Gaming locked in, and a wonderful challenge from Arsenal, but it's the control, the first touch from Sipical to stick it close, get the air dribble back in command, and he even just gave up after he beat everybody on defense, just laid flat and says, yeah, I know I got you.
And we analyzed this sort of play earlier on where Sipical, if he gets the ball to just land on him, his first touch is so good, he kills the ball, instantly air dribbles. At the very least, he's getting a player on the challenge. It might just drop in front of net.
But he's good enough to beat him. They talked about it on the desk. He starts off with his fantastic ability to make any solo effort a dangerous scoring opportunity.
Fruity tries to get the shot set, but it bounces out too much. Looking a little awkward right now for Reciprocity in defense. Bump off Farah means the only shot set's left, and he doesn't quite know what he's doing either. Space Station, if they went hounding, they might just get a shot here. Looks like they may have left this for too long. Reciprocity get time to recover.
And I like Fruity trying to take that ball off the wall and at least get a little bit of time with it, but it slides through, and oh my goodness, that is not good.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
man.
not how you see your World Championship going. You visualize it for weeks upon end, and then you do that.
I feel like Fruity thought someone was farther back and let that one go and realized too late that they weren't, and then just couldn't fix it. If I had to guess how that happened, that would be my guess.
The thing is, they've got no time to really worry about it. They're 2 goals down, a crucial match for them, because if they lose this, they've got a reverse sweep. And that might be another one. Sipical racing forward. This rotation, disjointed for Reciprocity so far. They've got to get this sorted out. Chaussette bullied over in the corner. Space Station Gaming, they've got the goals that they need. They can just force Reciprocity to try and find a goal, something that has eluded them for almost 7 minutes in this series.
And the pressure, the spacing, the spread of the field from Space Station Gaming, they've absolutely got them locked down. They're actually all kind of congealed in this right-hand corner. But then again, the ball's not moving very fast. The chances of the ball punching out across over their heads or across the pitch are so slim.
That was such a wasteful ball. It might come back to haunt them. AXB, that third goal likely would have finished it off the backboard. Arsenal starting to come in. Ferrer removes it, but Chaussette also wanted a piece of the ball. Reciprocity keeps sending 2 players for every single play. Fruity just hands away possession again.
And a double commit as well. Leaves Fruity in an awkward position. Has to give way in case of the demo, which means the backboard's open for Arsenal. And Fruity able to get his wheels back under him and punch the ball out. Finally some space. You need to hang on to this, and unfortunately Sipical closes the gap.
Arsenal takes out Chaussette as well. There's a trade between Fruity and Arsenal just off screen. Gonna drop down. Ferrer for the first goal. Reciprocity finally, mercifully, get the ball in the net.
Well, it takes you 8.5 minutes, but you finally get it done. Farah from Chaussette in the middle, and that was a tough pass to make as well. Chaussette under pressure, still able to punch that straight out sideways with great speed. And an excellent shot from Farah to get themselves back into it.
Has to be clean for the next 2.5 minutes for Reciprocity. Another goal for Space Station could finish it, and AXB may have provided.
A wonderful goal. Again, it's just stuck in the corner. Sipical going for the challenge. AXB applying pressure, and just the perfect bounce. That's the nightmare bounce if you're Reciprocity. You're expecting that one to roll up the wall, but it just kicks back into the middle. And he just follows it over his shoulder and into the net.
It's almost more of a punch of a gut than just remaining 0-2 would have been at this point, because you had your chance. You were full of hope that you could finally kickstart your series, though Farah's going to try and chase this down. Just immediately hand away yet another goal. Space Station Gaming scoring for fun today.
Ooh. Arsenal taking out Chaussette, which a wise play from Sipical to just bring the ball down. And you were talking about that. That first touch will at least draw in a player from Reciprocity, but it's not enough. Chaussette.
Well, we were talking about all the great plays that we can see from Chaussette. First one was definitely a shot. Just sort of landed on the rest of it, although there's a lot of boost usage. Chaussette, I don't know if that was a shot or an attempt at recovery. Either way, it worked.
Turn it in. Why not? And if you're wondering why Shotset is able to do crazy things, just moves around the pitch, gets a block, dunk here or there, and again, they're right back in it.
Now Fruity on the ball. Got a minute and a half. They need to find one more goal. This might be dangerous as well. Not a great play out, but XB is available. You blast the ball back to your side of the field. Reciprocity have to restart from square one. XB plenty of time as well, but zero boost on him off the backboard, and no one can really play this. That was an infield option, and that's what they wanted to go for. But zero contact means zero chance. Farah looks to play again. XB covering that midfield. He's done such a good job, almost reverting back to that role that we were just talking about from previous seasons. He has covered third man so well so far. Spacestation Gaming, no mistakes allowed. They want to keep this out. Huge bump though. XB couldn't find a way past Fruity.
Arsenal very smart, letting that ball just go right by and put the pressure on the defense, try and get the demo on the goal line and maybe be able to pop a shot through a smoke screen.
Shotset, he's got the ball down, looks to control, but well positioned from Reciprocal, just plants himself right in the middle of the net. Forces Shotset to try and go around him, and even then he couldn't do that.
AXB under pressure in the net. Shotset again, it's basically a 1v3 dribble, and Fruity
needs angle.
Yeah.
Those dribbles are not going to work when you're facing directly at the net. You've got to give yourself some angle to work with. Even if it's just a hook shot, put it across, but you need something with it. There's a huge demo! 3-all! Farah's got it!
It's just that shot came out so much softer than I thought it was going to. Just pops it in the middle. Arsenal stuck on the wall, and I really thought that was going to be a pinch into the goal. It kind of was, but it was just so soft. I was a little surprised. I think if it was harder, they might have actually saved it, because it kind of just died right under that defender diving across the back wall.
Well, Reciprocity in a game that honestly started off so poorly for them. They've climbed their way back. They look now like the European champions, and they might have just got it to the end. Fruity's going to let this one drop. Overtime is now up. Crucial for both teams. Spacestation get this. They've got match point.
Shotset involved in all 3 goals, and we'll see if Reciprocity suffers a 3rd loss with Shotset able to find the back of the net.
Shotset, we need to be a little bit worried about, because he's taking control an awful lot. There's a few of these that do pop into the midfield, and that's available for both teams. Spacestation spot it. They can get there first. They can take what's effectively an infield pass from their opponents. That's a huge challenge from Reciprocal. He want to try and find another player. Will drop down. Arsenal thinks better of it, but that's a huge whiff. And Arsenal just going to try and buy a bit of time. There was no options for Spacestation to put extra shots on net.
And Fruity's struggling. Couple of big misses in this game where could have got some solid possession for his team, and the back line's open. Reciprocal just needs help, and unfortunately denied with a spawn.
The backboard. Farah blasts long. Reciprocal by himself. Well, not anymore. Shotset just annihilated. Minute of overtime played. Shotset now over the top. Reciprocal required. Just gets there, scoops the ball off the line. But Reciprocity are hounding their way, and Farah doesn't even control it. Ooh. Arsenal and the rest of Spacestation have survived.
But AXB is just buying a few precious moments. Shotset so quick, and Arsenal just able to get the nose on it. And now you're absolutely right. Reciprocity starting to put the squeeze to Spacestation, demanding that they play perfect Rocket League if they want to get possession back, and AXB in time.
Oh, that's another shot! No! Ball free! Goal after goal after goal, but only one matters, and that belongs to Farah!
Oh, that bounce, and Farah just nails that one. An excellent read on the play. AXB saw it bounce, knew he wasn't going to be able to get the touch, tried to cover the net, and they couldn't do it. And Reciprocity, that game shows you the value of keeping yourself in it. Like you said, horrible start. 2 goals in under a minute.
Honestly, now that they've won, I can be as honest with this as I want to, because it doesn't come across. That was some of the worst Rocket League I've seen at this level. But Reciprocity, they picked it up, and I'm almost more impressed with the fact that they did sort themselves out afterwards, because that's hard to do.
Yeah. Really not what you're looking for after you get shut out in game 1, and then 4 minutes and 8 seconds, Arsenal puts in a 2nd goal unassisted, and then it was just a slow push back. Shotset assisting Farah, Shotset scoring one, Shotset assisting Farah again, and it's just, you keep at it slowly but surely. And it's like that third goal came in after they got themselves one like instantly, and you're like, oh man, it was just. This was not a fun game for Reciprocity to play, but they never just let it go.
And now Space Station, they've got very different questions to answer now. 3 goals in that series, in that game, unanswered. They were 3-1 up at one point. All you have to do is not concede or just get one more. You've not managed to do that. And now Space Station are the team with questions to answer. Will they be able to bounce back in game number 3? But so important that Reciprocity won that one. Otherwise, Space Station, they only needed one more.
Gloves are off. You might have got your warm-up game in Reciprocity, and it was a tough one for game 2, but you did win it. And now it's just who executes.
So Reciprocity seem to have awoken, but Chaussette will not be able to reach that. Add an extra 3 car lengths at the front of his car. He might get it, but today is not his day.
That is the expert shooting that Sipical earned himself an MVP award for. Out of the side, all the way to the back post. Oh, that's money.
Space Station's goals always seem to come out of nowhere. They just create, score, and you're just like, well, when did that happen? How did you even get players in position? XB has the chance for the half volley in the midfield. That's going to get plenty of distance. The only issue with those is that those half volleys do have a tendency of going upwards. They'll hit the ceiling and go down earlier than you expected. And Chaussette, Chiefs next to me, just had a heart attack.
If that one went in the net, I was going to be like, well, you said it. They come out of nowhere.
Arsenal might have the reset. Try to get it past. And despite the fact that Sipical may be the North American MVP, this is a team full of players that can do exactly that. You rip your team's defense apart individually, and Arsenal looks to do exactly that, and he's going to do exactly that. Oh no! Gonna get the follow-up from XB.
A rare miss.
Yeah.
From Sipical. You think 100%, no problem. Whoops. But nice job for Arsenal going for the demo play, but it wouldn't have mattered. AXB, great job getting around that ball and putting it away from the defender, so way to not get flustered by the miss from your teammate. Stay with it. Just finish the job.
Very good third man positioning as well. So difficult to figure out, all right, when can I afford to be this aggressive? Because if that one doesn't go in, or if there's a challenge that comes in, you're back at this point, and you've used a lot of boost to try and get your players forward. And we've done exactly what we've done in the second game. Reciprocity, 2 goals down, loads of time to stick with it. But what have Space Station learned from the last game? They've learned that maybe more goals will help.
More goals will definitely help. And Fruity just doesn't have the boost to stay with this ball. And Sipical, again, excellent choice. Would have been very easy to just try and launch that towards the backboard, go for a double tap. But he realizes Fruity gave up on the play, lay it off to your teammate, let them do something with it, and they turn it into a goal.
Space Station running away with game 3. Trying to get rid of Farah. Farah jumped for that probably about 5 seconds before he ended up getting the challenge. Very curious play, but that might be yet another open one. Chaussette's been pressing very far forward as third man. We know he feels the pressure here to get the plays going.
Oh, yeah.
And that might honestly end up being more of a downfall. At this point, Reciprocity, more offense is more offense. You're 3-0 down, you're 4-0 down, you're 5-0 down. It's all the same result. But maybe when they're 2 goals down, you know, Chaussette, if he can't get those plays going, those might end up hurting.
And that dribble attempt could have been a big one to get it started. Wave and I were talking about it during the first couple series of the day, with Space Station Gaming scoring that nutty pass play off the backboard. I mean, if anyone makes a huge play and gets the entire team saying, like, I cannot believe you just did that, Chaussette cannot get it past AXB. And still they're trying to find something, but you need a player to get the morale back in line for Reciprocity.
Fruity blasts it long. Might just be as far as Sipical. They needed to get that one to another player. Now struggling to control. Smart from Sipical. You can't get a hold of the ball, at least get a hold of the player. A huge demo. Sipical on the line. Goes up early. Managed to avoid the demo as well. Now Space Station just looking to add extra goals onto it. Reciprocity have not even got a foothold in this game so far, outside the one Chaussette shot.
They have a total team score of like 210 points. They have not gotten their approach on the ball to really gain control very much. You're already at 2 minutes.
Chaussette looking for the double tap. Sipical times it well. Fruity, this might have just added too much time to the play, and it exactly has. AXB rotates in and clears.
And that's what you were talking about in game one. Maybe one step too many.
It feels like that shot has to go in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you try and do it, that shot has to at least be an attempt.
Oh, a great challenge from Reciprocal. And actually, I think he wanted help, but nobody was there.
Spacestation Gaming just tearing Reciprocity apart in the opening of all of these games so far. Reciprocity able to answer in the last one, but now that we've seen it for a third time achieves, this is starting to become very worrisome because Reciprocity... Actually, I want to pose this question to you. Is this Reciprocity starting slow, or is this Space Station Gaming starting fast?
It's Space Station Gaming starting fast. I mean, again, you had 2 goals. You had 3 goals in a minute and a half. It's quick starts for Space Station Gaming. It's Reciprocity always having to dig themselves out of a hole. And it causes them to just try and feel like, you said it, they need to do too much sometimes. And it's just no one's ever truly comfortable on that roster because Space Station Gaming have just somehow been able to break the door down in the first 2 minutes. And they're going to do it again.
Yeah, that should be another one.
Oh, he stole it!
Might as well pad the stats at this point. Arsenal gets himself up to a second. He's now got even better excuse to steal more in the future because, hey, he's on a hat trick.
There we go, yeah. Give him the hat trick potential, and AXB will give him a wry glare. But it's definitely quick starts for Space Station Gaming. Game 3 is a write-off at this point. If you're Reciprocity, you're looking ahead at games 4 and 5. You're thinking, man, Chaussette, he actually did a great job in this game. A couple of great looks in getting the ball into the middle. But just that Space Station defense, a couple of nice saves on some decent looks.
Ferro will end up leaving that one. Fruity just trying to get a consolation goal at this point, but Chaussette gets mind-gamed. He's actually put Arsenal through. XB looking for some style, and here's a scare right now for Reciprocity is that Space Station have played this last minute the same way as they played the last few minutes against Canberra Havoc. Reciprocity will say we deserve more respect than that.
I mean, as the #1 European seed, I think you expect it, but then you come out and you play like that, and you put up 0-0-0-0 for Farah, 0-0-1-2, 0-0-1-2 for Chaussette, the supposedly best player in the world. Well, you're going to lose a lot of respect pretty quick. You need Reciprocity. That's what they were talking about on the desk, you know. Reciprocity can be unbeatable, but it so much depends on one player, and that's what makes it so difficult. And you said it back earlier on in the series. Every player on Space Station can make something happen.
Absolutely. So Space Station answer the question. They answer it with flying colors. I mean, could they get themselves back into momentum? And they've played the start of every single one of these games so very well. Managed to basically just brush off game #2 and straight back into the driver's seat.
Honestly, that's all you're looking for. If you're Reciprocity going into game 4, you think, all right, fine, well, we'll just play and we'll go into game 5 and anything happens in game 5. And it literally is just, okay, can we get through the first 2 minutes and not allow a goal? And that's all I want to see from Reciprocity right here. You cannot have to play from behind again every single game. It's just an absolutely ridiculous thing to ask of any team.
Well, they're going to have to try and do it right here, right now. Game #4 coming up in just a moment. Reciprocity have got their backs to the wall, and we've already mentioned about how difficult it is if you do drop into tomorrow's single elimination bracket. 4 teams will enter it. Only 1 team will be allowed to move on to Sunday. That is not a position you want to be in, especially with some of the dangerous teams that we've already got down there. Typical with the control. We've seen what you can do from here. Fruity, smart decision. Get yourself over there nice and quick. Now put a shot on target. Arsenal saves. Follow-up saved yet again. Space Station Gaming, when they get their defense down, just seem like a brick wall that cannot you get past.
It was a shoddily built brick wall, but a brick wall nonetheless. Fruity not able to get through. It hit the fence. And a great clear from Space Station Gaming, and they avoid the early push from Reciprocity.
Demo from Fruity on Reciprocal. That might slow Space Station down, but Space Station tend not to care about the might. It's going to be off the backboard. Fruity clears to Chaussette, who's already waiting for him. But again, Space Station just take their time. Let Reciprocal control. Take Ferrer out of the play. And now Arsenal's on the breakaway. Infield pass to AXB.
Oh, nice
Huge save from Chaussette. Now off the backboard yet again. And Fruity this time gets rid of some of the danger, but it might only be for a fleeting second.
And that is the defense that you came to expect from Chaussette for literally years now. I mean, you save a strong infield pass like that. Sure, the shot was from almost the midfield line, but it was ripped.
Great control again from Sipical. Keeps it away from any charging players. Ferro's actually out of position here. Chaussette's got to rotate back. Fruity forced to try and delay for time. He's done exactly that. Huge plays from both teams on the defensive side. Now Arsenal for the double tap. Can't quite get it. Reciprocity taking their time to control. They might regret that one, but now it's Fruity. He's one-on-one, but he's low on boost. Forced to try and settle for a challenge.
Oh, and they all kind of back off too. Farah goes into the shadow defense, and he misses the ball. And your Reciprocity, you done what I wanted. You got through 2 minutes, you're 0-0, and hopefully you feel a little bit more at ease here in Game 4, but can you turn it into a goal?
Fruity tries to keep the ball in the blue side of the field. He's got to win the challenge. He couldn't quite do so. And Arsenal's got a very good angle for this. Gets it stone dead in the corner. Now playing his midfield, Fruity. He would have preferred that one to be bouncing, but he'll take exactly what he got. As both teams start going for long clear, it's Arsenal for the setup, and Sipical can't quite get it past Farah. Reciprocity have passed your test at the very least. They've managed to get past those opening 2 minutes, but now the next 2.5 minutes are all that matters.
See that pass up to the ceiling from Spacestation Gaming earlier. That one kind of makes your heart stop a little bit. But either way, definitely looking a lot better in the midfield line. They've gotten a couple demos and sort of blunted that offensive potential of Spacestation Gaming. You want to see them be able to bring the ball down, gain control, get the passes going, because the touches off the wall are rarely going to work against Spacestation.
Fruity moves up a bit too far too early. Farah's got time. Would he want to take the shot off the backboard? Hasn't got time to go for a demo, though. It does take out Sipical. Chaussette doesn't have the boost to try and follow. Huge half volley off the backboard. And Spacestation again. Offense comes to them. They just simply shrug it off.
That's a big clear from AXB as well in that position. You said the demo came out, and that put a lot of pressure on AXB to make a great clear. And in a World Championship environment, that is not the easiest thing to always execute those strong, powerful clears off the backboard like that in awkward positions.
Now the question becomes, how far will Reciprocity be willing to commit their second man? Well, the answer is pretty far up. Fruity just diving in as third. Arsenal beat to it. That's going to be huge. He's got the majority of the boost on this team. Especially as Sipical's shot hit the ceiling, but Chaussette misses it. Now a huge demo. Sipical will just tap that one in. Required a bit of help, but Spacestation have got it.
That has been the story of Game 4. It's been a good look for Reciprocity, and then they miss a touch, and finally it comes back to haunt them. The demo on the back line leaves the door open, and Arsenal and Sipical put a big one in with only a minute left.
Reciprocity have got to find something in this final minute, but Arsenal for the second goal. Can't quite find a way through, but plenty of time shaved off the clock. 50 seconds now. Farah puts it at the top. Fruity actually didn't jump, but another huge clear. Every time at least find the midfield. Farah trying to get this back over to Chaussette. Too heavy. Needed that one dropping down at the very least. Now double demos, leaves Farah all by himself to keep the offense going. The time that we were talking about earlier is cut in half. That's not a good play.
Oh my goodness.
Got an open net. And right now, Spacestation are just picking at the bones.
Arsenal didn't care one bit that that ball went into the corner. He was like, I'm not challenging. I'm going to go smash the guy in the goal. And Sipical and AXB were just sitting there like, I wonder if it's going to come out to us. And Chaussette, expecting a challenge, drove right up to that ball, popped it off the side wall, and the net's already open because Arsenal just does what he wants.
Arsenal has just had an outstanding day one at this World Championship. And the ways things look right now, he can book himself in for a day 3 of the World Championship. Spacestation Gaming have torn Reciprocity apart in this series, and they are going through to Sunday, and you can see just how much that means to them.
They absolutely deserve it considering how they played today. I mean, a lights out performance versus Canberra Havoc, and then they play Reciprocity with the monster in the sock, and they absolutely lock him down. They scored 4 goals in that entire series. It's the team that 4-0'd Vitality a couple weeks ago. And just Reciprocity, just nothing.
I mean, too many mistakes. It was basic mistakes as well.
Especially in that Game 4.
You'd expect some of it to become, after the first game, maybe they start overcommitting, but it actually got to the point where just hitting the ball was becoming an issue, and it left so many demo opportunities open because you can't send another player in.
Yeah. And if you're Reciprocity, what can you do? You take that one on the chin and you think, okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow, I suppose, because that's the only thing you can do. I mean, Spacestation Gaming, you came out here, you played a hot hand, and both teams that won their first series, Dignitas won their series against the Knights, and now Spacestation takes down Reciprocity. So everyone out of the first leg of the bracket coming in hot and gets a good W to continue the day.
Absolutely, showing the depth that we've got in these tournaments. You know, I said earlier on that maybe getting the first and second seed was going to be so important to this tournament. Well, I'm wrong.
not in this.
I'm definitely
not in
wrong
Group
on that
B,
one.
at least.
No, definitely not. And, you know, this wasn't even the one that we were calling the group of death. We've got that still to come.
There's a lot to look forward to for the rest of today as well. But Reciprocity, it's okay.
Well, you've got to come back tomorrow.
It's okay.
You've got to come back tomorrow. You've got to beat 4 teams to try and get. You've got to get past the Free Sins. You've got to get past Canberra Havoc. And you've got to get past the Pittsburgh Knights. That is a gauntlet if I've ever heard of one. We're going to hand this one back over to Leaf and the guys at the desk.